We spent 3 months travelling China as a family, and now we can reveal all.
We kind of went with a really open mind.
Wow, this is like intense. It's all about rules. You can be tracked, they can tap your phones.
It is so busy.
You just gotta stay in. A lot of people are saying, how much has China paid you to do this? And the answer... Recently, we finished an epic 3-month tour of China, and in this video we're going to be debunking some of the myths and opinions that you may read in the media or see online, and talk to you about our experience of visiting China as a family.
Let's go to China! Let's go to China!
We kind of went with a really open mind as to what to experience. We weren't really sure what was going to happen, and we planned our route to go from the south and travel all the way up to the north, exiting at Beijing. And we were super excited about this, but the first hurdle for us was applying for that visa that everyone goes on about, it being like so hard to get. There was lots of paperwork, lots of hurdles to jump through, but once that was done, we didn't have to sit in this scary room.
No.
We didn't get interrogated. It was just accepted and handed over to us.
Today is the day we are about to fly to China and travel around for 3 months. We've got our visas tucked away here in our passports. So far, so good.
Basically what it is it's all about rules.
Yes.
And what we know now from visiting China is people abide by the rules, and as long as you stick to the rules and meet all the regulations, you're absolutely fine. So although the application centre that you do have to go to, you do have to get a meeting, you do have to have all your paperwork, although it may seem
You have
intimidating.
to be silent when you walk in. With 3 children, that was quite scary. You have to be wearing your mask as well. You have to be wearing your mask. It was
It's just
strict.
rules and regimented, but it may seem intimidating, it may seem scary, and there might be rumours out there that it's really intense and strict. You've got to have a one-on-one interview with interrogation. It's not like that. You've literally just got to meet the regulations, have the correct paperwork, and they will process it, and you'll have your visa accepted. That is it, and it's really straightforward.
The good news is we are on a plane to China right now. So we've made it onto the plane, we checked in, our luggage has gone through, everything like that is okay. But the bad news is once we get to China, we may be sent straight back again.
We had a business visa because we were doing work over there, but the children were on a tourist visa. So there was questions as to whether that we would be actually accepted to go into the country. So we signed something that said that we're going to get on the flight, but we may not be accepted into the country.
So we were literally on a flight, and we thought, we may be just flying directly back, but we're going to give it a go anyway. And the immigration was super smooth when we got there. No questions, no problems whatever. Everyone super helpful, and it wasn't the experience what we were actually thinking from what we read or what we'd built up in our own minds. It was straightforward.
And then from there on, our adventure in China started.
You cross over after immigration, the Chinese flag's there. It's really, you're like, we are in China, and you just get a real wave of excitement, and then
we hadn't thought about anything else.
Like, what do we do now?
We are here. We've made it. We're on Chinese soil right now, and we're in Guangzhou. It's our first destination on our big tour of China. We are so excited.
We got through, and the first thing that we felt was the language barrier.
Yes.
This was really vast, and it went down to, you think, oh, quick, get my phone, Google translates, and suddenly that doesn't work either, because even though you've connected to the Wi-Fi, Google does not work.
Yes.
So you're there and you cannot translate anything talking to anyone.
We've travelled around Southeast Asia, and you could get by with speaking English to locals and the bits. Like in China, they do speak English and they really try, but there is more of a hard language barrier. So when you first land there, you realise actually your English isn't going to get you by. You need a translator. The signs in the airports did have English and Chinese, and the announcements and things were in English and Chinese, but when you try to communicate, that's where it gets quite difficult, and that's where we realise, wow, we're in it here. There was a situation with paying for stuff because we went to a local shop straight off the plane.
This was another thing, like straight away, I needed a drink, I was thirsty, and Chris went in with his bank card, which is the international bank card that we use whilst we're travelling.
Everywhere.
Has worked in every single country, so what's that, 7 countries we've been to, have worked every single time. It did not work.
The guy like behind the till just was like, he just said no. I was like, wow, like this didn't work, and this was my like lifeline. So let's go try and draw some money out. Thankfully, I got some cash out, but when I paid for the drinks, the guy was a little bit strange about it, and he was pointing to like the WeChat signs and the Alipay signs. And obviously, after traveling there, we understand now that WeChat, Alipay, UnionPay, it's all done through your phone.
So this is like confusing. We're going WeChat, Alipay, UnionPay. Seems so natural for us saying it because we understand it. It's basically an application that's on your phone, which basically will do everything. That's how you order food, that's how you pay for things, that's how you order taxis, that's how you pay for your metro.
Like, it's the lifeline, and like that is how you pay for things. It's basically a cashless society. You pay for everything by scanning a QR code, and it takes it from your balance that way. So we got that set up. But my main bit of advice for you is to, as soon as you get off the plane, to connect to Wi-Fi, and there is no better way than doing that than by having an international eSIM, and this is where I can introduce to you Airalo. In the past, when landing in a new country, the first thing that we tried to do is find a SIM vendor in the airport to buy a SIM card so we can get connected to the internet as quickly as possible. Now with this, you've got to change over your actual physical SIM cards. You may get overpriced, and also you might not be able to find the best package for you. We don't worry about any of this anymore thanks to Airalo. Airalo is the world's first eSIM store with over 200 countries and regions covered. It's trusted by over 10 million travelers worldwide, and it's been created to save you costs and time. With an eSIM, there is no need for a physical SIM card as it's fully digital. So you can literally connect straight to the internet with one click of a button. You can also keep your own phone number, which is fantastic. Click the link in the description below to download the Airalo app, and with our code Hutchinson3, you get $3 off of your data plan. So just check out this deal that I've just found for China. We go on there, we can see there is 1 gigabyte for 7 days available, and that will cost you $5. But with our code Hutchinson3, it goes down to $2. In the past, we've been caught out with data roaming charges, and these bills can really rack up. But with Airalo, we don't need to worry about this anymore, and it really does make the whole experience a lot less stressful. Once you've downloaded the Airalo app, it's nice and simple. You search for the destination of your choice, and it will come up with all of the data plans available to you. Choose the one that you want, download and install the eSIM, and then make sure it's activated so that when you land in your destination, you can connect instantly. To download the Airalo app now, click on the link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen. And don't forget to use our code Hutchinson3 for $3 off of your data plan and get connected wherever you travel. I had the WeChat app already set up before we left, but you don't actually get to put it into practice till you're there. So you've got to have like hands-on learning. So we were literally just learning as we went.
I think like the research going forward, I just didn't really find much about what you definitely need. Like how do you order taxis? How do you pay for things? And that is why this video here today is to tell you that if you are visiting China, you need to be able to, in the country, download WeChat, Alipay and UnionPay. Any of those, the international version, and that is how you're going to be able to pay for stuff.
You can bound your international bank card with Alipay, WeChat, all that. So it all works. You've just got to get it set up, and hopefully you get something out of watching this video.
Okay, not the best start to our trip here in China. There was a bit of confusion with our taxi guy. I think it was a breakdown in communication, and he's literally just dropped us off in the middle of nowhere without our hotel in sight. Everywhere's closed. It's like 1 AM in the morning.
is it safe?
Yes.
We arrived at 1 a.m. in the morning in Guangzhou
Yes.
on a Friday
Which
night.
is the 3rd or 4th biggest city in China. Don't quote me on that, might be wrong, but I'm sure that's the case. And it's a major city, and we arrived at 1 a.m. Friday night
with
sat at
all of
early
our
hours
suitcases,
in the Saturday
3
morning.
children, which we're relying on the
Yeah.
children to carry their own stuff as well. Like,
Yes.
it's very important when we do our travelling that it's a learning curve. The girls do look after their own stuff.
Yeah.
So they're carrying these at 1 in the morning after a long travel day, going
Yeah.
through immigration, everything, and we're just completely lost. We couldn't find our
Basically, the
accommodation.
taxi guy kind of dropped us off outside of this area where we later worked out our hotel.
We couldn't
was
find the entrance.
inside.
It is super quiet. It doesn't feel unsafe. The girls are right here. We okay, girls?
Oh good, let's try and find a bed for the night.
So here's our first introduction to being here. But yeah, it feels really safe. It's not noisy at all. It's not busy, and it's a Friday night here in Guangzhou.
So imagine being in London, central London, or Birmingham or Manchester, one of the major cities in the UK, at that time on a Friday. There'll be people out drinking, having a good time on a party. It's not typically a child-friendly scene, certainly with all of your luggage walking around clueless.
Not speaking the local
Speaking the
language.
local language. It's not the best, but in China, it felt incredibly safe. There was literally no one around. And
But this is like our first experience.
First impression.
I can tell you throughout the whole 3 months
Yes.
of being in China,
Yeah.
we did not feel intimidated
No.
by the locals, threatened, or disliked in any
Not
way.
once.
In fact, they were extremely welcoming. They all wanted to talk to us,
Yeah.
even though we couldn't speak Chinese.
Yeah.
They all wanted to take photographs of us
Yeah.
as well. As soon as you
They
stop
were
and they
so
take photographs,
Smiley. So they all tried and really give it to you. We couldn't speak a word of Chinese, it's ignorant from us, but they always tried their English and they were so smiley. And even that night, there was a couple of people around and they were coming up to us and trying to see if we were okay and trying to help. So we couldn't have asked for a better reception and a better first impression than that. We finally found our location and all was fine from there. But yeah, China is very safe. I would say probably one of the safest countries we visited.
China and busyness. Super duper busy. Okay, that's what you get told. Really busy, millions of people.
Yeah,
This is true.
it is true.
It is so busy. When I'm saying like summer holidays in the UK busy, that is every
This
single
is-
day normal.
Yeah, that's the
busyness.
normal levels. And if you go out on a national holiday period, you just got to stay in because they call it People Mountain, People Sea. It's just
So true.
so many people, like you are walking and you're getting shifted along.
Everyone's just so used to being that
Yeah.
busy,
Yeah.
and they all just follow the rules. You've got the police
Yeah.
there helping you and
Feels safe.
guiding you. It
There's a
feels really
lot.
safe, and it's
Yeah.
really calm, and everyone knows what they're doing. But I'm saying on the busyness as well, like it kind of comes into the whole thing of personal space.
Yes.
So like we like to be like about personal space. It's
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
China.
Yeah.
It is here.
It
So
can
you're like-
get very overwhelming, and
So-
certainly with the girls, it can
You
get
just have
crowded.
to keep like picking up Bella so she's
Yes.
not crowded by the legs, but like you get into an elevator and you definitely think that elevator is full and you just get vroom.
Yeah, no, there's always
5 more people will
space.
get in.
There's always more
Like,
space.
Same
in the
on the
elevator.
metro. Same on the metro.
Yeah.
No space at all.
The doors are literally shutting in
On
front of
people,
your face,
on
but
people.
people can still
They
squeeze,
bend their heads to
squeeze
get in.
in there. Our advice would certainly be, if you go to China, to avoid national holidays or anything like that. So do your research and just make sure that you don't go certainly to any places of interest on those periods because it'll be way too much.
It's going to be busy without it being a holiday.
Yes.
But and when it's a holiday, it is insane. That then leads me on to the public transport
Yeah.
system. We need to find Yang. Here. Thank you. It It was incredible, especially in the main cities.
Yeah.
Guangzhou is like probably my favourite metro system.
It's like
so clean.
It's so clean, modern, safe, so impressive.
Oh, the whole city is like
Yeah.
underground. So you see the top side, and you're like,
They've
okay, there's
used,
that.
you have the top layer of the city with all the skyscrapers, then underneath there's another city.
Like
It's
so much food.
Yeah, and obviously the metro operates under there, but really clean, really easy to use, really easy to get about. And if we were slightly struggling to work out the machine when we first got there, and some people just came up straight away, helped us out. It's very secure, so there's like, and on every train station, even metro or anything, there's always a scanner, security scanner. So you go through, like you shouldn't have anything in your bag that you shouldn't meant to be there anyway. So you just scan it.
Just so you know,
it's secure.
hairspray is an issue.
Yeah, canisters can be an issue just to be able to
Go on the metro.
Hairspray
got confiscated once, which I was a little bit upset about.
But it goes through the scanner. You go through the scanner like in an airport, and you think like the guards and the police things, they're there and they're firm and they're head to toe in gear and they're ready, but they are really willing to help you no matter what. Like a lot of the times,
So smiley.
They're just straight
so
in.
smiley. They help you. They like help you with your bags. With there with the girls. They're really nice and polite. So you can just literally walk in. You see these barriers and barriers in uniform.
They're super secure, which is an incredible thing. And it really did feel like when you're in these places and you get through that barrier of security, you are relaxed, because you know that you're secure, you've been checked, everything's been checked. So that is one thing to understand. If you go there, you are going to feel the initial like, wow, this is like intense, but it's for the security of the people, and it really does feel that way. And that is one thing.
That also leads us on to, you do have to carry your passports.
Yeah.
Every
All the
single time you go anywhere, because normally that is what your ticket is to any entry of these tourist places.
So for example, going on the high-speed rail, you should be using the high-speed rail to get you around China. I use trip.com to book all of our train journeys in China. This isn't sponsored, but we have worked with them in the past. But trip.com is literally amazing to go on and book all of your transport, all the trains. Just put in train station that you're going from, train station that you're arriving at, and it's literally all there. Really reasonable value, and the trains are super comfortable.
They're pretty crazy. Like, it just kind of depends which train you get. Like, some trains are a little bit like more run down than others, and then some are really high up and really nice. I think once that we did a first class. There's business class, which is insane. We did first class, which was really, really nice as well. Get on, you're there for 7 hours. Because it's so steady, the girls can kind of do their schooling work. We get our work done.
It's just really quite relaxing. You're locked in. It can be a long train journey, but it's really comfortable. I would say it's more comfortable than flying to do a long distance train journey.
100%.
The time we went in first class was amazing. The seats were like comfortable. Business class is a whole other level. That's like spaceship.
We want to try this.
We haven't
next
tried it yet.
time we go.
Next time we go, we will try the business class.
The other thing about like going on the high speed rail, especially with children, is the amount of snacks that I could take on. Like, because you're not going through an airport or whatever, I could take a massive bag of snacks. And then I also did try, I ordered a McDonald's to be delivered on the train.
Yes,
which
that's also another
insane.
viral video for us on our TikTok and Instagram. So go follow us on those accounts if you haven't already. The links are in the description below. You order it on your phone, and then you tell them what train you're on, everything like that, and it meets you at a stop. The McDonald's got dropped off on the train to one of the people who work on the train, and they bring it to your seat.
To your seat. It was really, really good.
Mental.
High-speed rails are absolutely
High-speed rail is the one to get on if you're traveling around China. You can make your way to all of the different areas, the different provinces. They are so different. Guangzhou up to Hangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing, Chengdu, Xi'an. These are all the places that we went, and they all had their own feel about them. And this is where I would liken it to the United States, because the States, you know, all the different states feel different. People have got their own ways about them, their own style. China's very much like that. You go 5-hour train journey, you get off the other side, and there's a different feel to the area.
And a different vibe. So like, you'd be very city-like and very busy, or like Shenzhen was like so futuristic. Then you go up to Chengdu, which is a little bit more relaxed. You've got the pandas there, it's all a little bit different. But I think like this also then brings us on to another myth that Chinese food is crazy. They eat everything, blah, 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 whatever the meat is, all of this. Now, this is something that we experienced, that like the food was completely different in each area. In Guangzhou was amazing, and it was quite Cantonese, wasn't it? Like really, really nice. But like with it isn't like your Chinese that you get in England. You don't get your chicken chow mein.
British Chinese food, we all know, isn't Chinese food. It's nice, but it's not Chinese. So you want Chinese food, you've got to go to China, and there is so much difference and different options.
And there's so many delicious things as well. But myth is they're not there. They're not there in the street, like chopping up their dogs and like serving us food. It's not true.
You will see ducks hanging for Peking duck. You will see chickens hanging in the windows. That is there.
Well, they display the meat, and it's not displayed as not being an animal. It is like that animal is like that. And in different places, you can look at the menu and you can see some very questionable things when you're translating it. And when you look at the translator, you're like, I'm not sure if that's correct or not. We just avoid that.
It's just a whole different culture of food everywhere you go. Like, for example, they eat a lot of chicken feet. And we can't eat chicken feet.
Right. Basically, the animal, they see it as a nutritious thing. So it's got collagen, vitamin, everything in it. So they'll eat the whole animal. And I kind of get it. Like, their skin does look really beautiful. Like they're like, for their age, their skin is really, really nice. But I just cannot see it eating a chicken foot or a beak, or like you can go in the supermarkets and the supermarkets where a different ball game, but you'd have duck heads just there and beaks and stuff.
Duck's blood, things like that. This is all included in some of their foods, and it's just what they eat, and it's part of their culture.
And I would say their palate is so different to us. So like when we were going...
Samira did try pigeon, by the way. The hotels, for sure, you've got all of the continental Western breakfast, and you have all the Chinese, Oriental, Asian
So if
stuff.
you do, because in some provinces we found it hard with food. Like, there's one place I'm going to name, and that is Hangzhou. And we found it extremely difficult. We ate the local food, and Chris got really quite sick with it. I think it was some a rice dish that we had.
I had a bad reaction, but we then learnt from our followers, certainly on TikTok and on YouTube on our videos, they commented and told us that Hangzhou is the dessert capital of China, meaning that the desserts in Hangzhou are fantastic, but the other food not so much, and we found that out. Just be aware of that. Try the desserts when you go there, but maybe the other stuff, just be aware of that. I did get food poisoning. But if you do need some home Western comforts when travelling around China, they are available. You can get them all.
You can either go to something, you can have a McDonald's, you can have a Burger King, Starbucks, anything like that you can get. And it was amazing because you could just order that off your phone and it would get delivered to your hotel. And then a person, you don't have to go down to reception to collect it. A robot, which we named in one of the hotels Boris, like moves all the way up with all of your stuff, rings your phone in the hotel room. You open the door and then the robot's there, it turns around, you open its cabinet and you get out your food. So you don't have to move a muscle. For those mornings that we used to have a Starbucks morning.
It just brings our Starbucks to us. It's talking to us as it opens up its compartment. No idea what it's saying, but it just is so good. And then you wave it off as it goes down the hallway on its own. The girls loved it. Our favourite foods in China, because there are so many that we had. I'm personally saying that the Chengdu spicy hot pot
I did really
is
enjoy
my
that.
favourite.
You do
My favourite.
sweat it out
Yes,
whilst
but
you're eating it.
it's addictive.
But it is addictive. You do really sweat it out, and as a family, it was one of the most enjoyable eating experiences. Like with the girls cooking it together, and it was so fun. And yeah, we really did enjoy it.
Really
but I'm gonna say that my personal favourite was Peking duck.
Yeah, in Beijing.
In Beijing, they brought it out. We had our own Hutchinson Peking duck.
Yes.
The taste was amazing.
Yeah.
And the cost was quite minimal as well.
Yeah.
So really did enjoy that.
I also loved having the Beijing hot pot compared to the Chengdu hot pot. Really interesting.
Chris loves a hot pot.
I do. I'm a fan of the hot pot. I love putting in the beef and then the flavours. Really good.
He sweats it
really
out.
enjoy
He really
it.
sweats it out.
The spicy one's my favourite, but I do sweat when eating that. It gets really hot. But like we said, there are Western comforts as well all over China, so don't be too worried if you want a bit of home comforts. We found a lot of comfort, believe it or not, in trying out Irish bars all over China, and they are available.
If in doubt, search for that Irish bar, and they are there.
They're available, and you just go in. There's a bit of music on. It's really good. Our favourite is Hoolies in Guangzhou. Hoolies in Guangzhou is a great
The
Irish
food
bar.
was really good.
Yeah, that's a little secret favourite spot of ours. But yeah, if in doubt, find an Irish bar. That's our motto. But leading us on now into probably the biggest thing that we had to take a step back with on China.
Yeah,
and
it was
blew
really,
our minds.
Really shocking.
Like,
it
insane.
was the amount of use of technology.
Like, biggest standout.
Everywhere, like every single building, the skylines of every single city were absolutely amazing. Like everyone knows what Shanghai's skyline looks like with the rocket. It's
when
all
you
lit
see
up.
that in real life,
yeah, is
it's
incredible.
breathtaking.
But the other cities, their skylines were absolutely amazing. Like Guangzhou with the Canton Tower.
All of the buildings have insane lights and holograms all over them. There was a bridge that had a LCD screen hologram thing on it in Guangzhou.
Oh, that was insane, yeah.
The place is super technology. There's just so much there. And that's just like the buildings and the architecture. Like we said before with the WeChat, and it is basically a cashless society. Everything is done via your phone. Payments, booking taxis, Didi.
Yeah.
That's another one I want to give you. So it's like Uber, or Grab if you're in Southeast Asia. China has Didi, and you can book that on WeChat, through WeChat. And the Didis that we were getting were like luxury 7-seater vehicles with massage chairs in. The technology is just on another level.
Absolutely crazy. So everything is on your phone.
Yes.
And if your phone was out of battery, which you are using all of the time, then that is just game over.
Yeah.
But it means that you just take out a cable with you, and when you're in a Didi, a taxi, you just charge it. You put it in, they expect you to, sometimes they even ask you if you want to charge your phone. You go into anywhere to eat, there's charging points everywhere. You've got those big blocks, people walking around with their charging blocks, because if this dies, you can't pay for anything.
You're kind of out of
and
action.
You can't do anything
without the phone. Literally market stalls at the side of the road selling street food, fruit, all that stuff. They have the QR code that you scan.
They will probably find it hard to take the cash off you. They probably wouldn't say no, but I think they'd be very confused. They're expecting you to just scan. So sometimes it's quite weird. You get the product and then you scan it in and then you put the price that they've said in it, and then they get a little ding that comes through, and then you're good to go. It's quite weird. It
is, but that really is China in a nutshell. It's super technological. They've got everything there. Another major tip is to invest in a good power bank and have that with you. If that fails, there are those units with power banks that you can rent, but you'll need a translator for that to get one of those.
But that leads us on with, when you use technology, And there's all this thing about tracking where
like
you are.
Security and this whole
Spying.
sort of, spying, tracking you. So that is like one of the biggest myths about China. Like for example, we've gone on how technological it is, and it blew our minds. It was the biggest thing that took us back. But then you read like the media and all the opinions of you can be tracked, they can tap your phones, they can keep a record of everything, of where you are, watch everything you're doing. We were obviously recording everything for social media anyway, and
everyone
TikTok.
basically knew where we were, and everyone does anyway,
Yeah.
so it didn't really affect us.
It didn't affect us. It felt very free. People were able just to go about their day and do whatever they want. We would just be with the locals. The locals would be super friendly and welcoming to us. It wasn't like what you would imagine or what you've been told. It was very, very free and comfortable.
Even speaking to these locals as well, like especially like the younger generation, they just seem to just be as happy as
what
anything.
it is they're all on the same page, and there is rules, there is regulations, but as long as you're not breaking those rules and not, as long as you're abiding by the law, you're absolutely fine. And I would say that as a tourist going in, as a traveller, if you're not a threat or you're not a relevant person to China, you're not going to be tracked and followed.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Like,
there's nothing.
no one's following you, no one's, like, you just go about your stuff, just like abide by the rules, and you will have the best time. It's so comfortable, people are so welcoming. It's a very safe community, and that's the main thing, and we didn't feel threatened whatsoever.
Not at all. But there's us saying how amazing it is, and this isn't happening, and that's not happening, which has arose one of those biggest questions that we have been asked, we've been told that we are, and what we're doing, and whatever else, and that is
the biggest thing that we had in our comments, because we've been to China and we've shown China and our experience of what we think about it, which is positive. A lot of people are saying, how much has China paid you to do this? And the answer is zero. We haven't been paid by any background secret organisation to promote China. That just isn't happening. But these days, if any vlogger or YouTuber goes to China and shows China for what it's like in a positive light, there's all this theory about being paid. That's not the case.
Not at all.
We do that with every country that we
If
go to.
you've followed our channel, if you've followed our content, we have travelled over 6 different countries, loads of cities. We've put out so many YouTube videos. We have never moaned and groaned about that place. We show it in a positive light because we are positive people.
Wherever we go, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, we absorb the positivity out of the place, the people, the culture, and it feels amazing, and that's what we're like. If we ever had a problem or we didn't feel too good about things, we would say it. But more often than not, on our videos, you come to us for positivity, to really see what the country has to offer and the people, and we do that everywhere. China, no different. We had a blast. We loved it. So much so that in the not so distant future, we will be going back because we just scratched the surface. So we are excited, and we can say right now, we're not scared or worried about anything to do with China. We genuinely really love it, and we are so looking forward to visiting again, and you shouldn't be scared either.
Definitely not. I think like going from the beginning of this video today, we have said about the visa application. It feels really intimidating. It is not at all. Arriving in China and going through immigration, like, oh, it's all really scary. Going through security, going in the high-speed rail, going on the metro,
talking to people,
to like anything, like you're not, you know, anything.
You'll be so
You're
surprised.
going to be pleasantly surprised, and it is so rich in ancient history. Definitely.
The history, we forgot to even go into that. The Great Wall, Xi'an, terracotta warriors. The history is incredible. We loved all the Great Wall was our bucket list thing. We had to go there. That was like breathtaking.
Going on a high-speed rail was a thing as well. I'm going to say high-speed rail one more time.
It has so much to offer. You can see the energy that we've got when talking about it, and this isn't fake, this is real. We feel this way, and we hope that we can inspire you to go there if you're feeling like you'd like to go but you're unsure. We hope we've helped you out. We hope you've got a lot out of this video, and if you've really liked it, please give us a big thumbs up. Stay tuned for our journey. We've got China coming up very, very shortly. We've got another country.
It's not the next country.
No, it's not the next country. Yeah. The next country is a real curveball that we're not going to say just yet. So we've got the next country, we've got China, and we've got 2 more countries after that for the rest of the year. We've got an exciting...
Don't stop telling them all our plans.
We've got a really exciting rest of the year to go. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we shall see you in our next video. Goodbye.